What's happening, everybody? Happy Tuesday evening to you. Hopefully you had a great and somebody's shooting. I hope they hit the deer. That's what you got to deal with when you're in the country. I love it. I pop mine off sometime too. But anyway, hopefully you had a productive Tuesday. Hopefully I got a good video in store for you. If you saw my other video, you saw that I did a compression test and the numbers were good as far as I'm concerned. A lot of you agreed in the comments. Oh Jesus, I'm a little worn out after working on equipment all day long. But I'm gonna show y'all what we're gonna be trying to do today. I went to the shop to finish up one of my cousin's truck, and while I was down there I got some more tools. So I'm gonna get y'all turned around to show you the tools that I got and the stuff I got from the parts store earlier. So just stay tuned. All right, this is what I got. I brought back my leak down tester. I probably used this once since I bought it. I bought it for a reason, but then I rarely ever had to use it. But now I'm gonna try it if I don't do nothing but one cylinder. And just in case I need to look in there, I'm gonna use the old boroscope camera. I believe I got this from not Harbor Freight. I think I ordered it from Amazon. And I used it to make sure it worked, but I never needed to use it again. But this is the most important bag, I think. Now, y'all already know that we never really got down to what was actually causing the problems. I think I know what caused the problems, but either way, we're gonna get some stuff done. I went and got me a fuel filter for my truck. That's the part number to it. If anybody wanna look into it. I got me a ignition control module just in case. Never know. It wasn't all that bad. And I got me some fuel line clamps, and y'all know why I got these. Y'all can see the part number on it. Most importantly in the kit, more than likely, is this. Y'all been at me and y'all been at me. Put a filter in that fuel line or fuel hose in between the regulator and the carburetor. I ain't never had one on the truck, but it's gonna be one on there after today. I got two of these carburetor gaskets because I run a spacer. So I'm gonna take the carburetor off so I can get to the backside fuel bowl, and I bought me another 4160 on rebuild kit from the parts store. I'm probably not gonna fully rebuild the carburetor, but just in case I rip a gasket or something like that, trying to clean these jets out, I'd rather have gasket that I can replace than to be stuck and not be able to use the kit at all. The thing is, if I do need to fully rebuild it, I got this kit, but I plan on trying to put that stuff back together if I tear it down carefully. So we're gonna leave all this stuff right here. I gotta use my tools out my van, obviously because I'm not at the shop. And lately I've been doing a whole bunch of work in my yard that I don't like to be doing, but it is what it is. I'm gonna make the most of it because I got to get this truck back up and running. So I'm gonna get this stuff back in this bag, and then I'm gonna get that leak down tester hooked up. And oh yeah, y'all don't see spark plugs. I'm gonna tell you why. You probably gonna eat me up in the comments, but it is what it is. I literally just put them plugs in there like last month. I know they might be got a little bit of carbon build up on it or halfway filed out. I'm gonna wire brush them jokers and hit it with some brake clean, and I'm putting them back in. They just gonna have to, they're gonna have to work. Cause I can't replace them plugs again. They too new. If it don't work, I'll bite the bullet and do it, but I'm gonna at least try to clean them and put them back. So y'all just stay tuned. All right, y'all, we back. I got good news, like really good news, but I also got really bad news. And before you start to panic, it ain't what you think. It was so simple. And a few of y'all had told me, like I said, a lot of y'all had told me in the comments, check and see if you got a vacuum leak. Check and see if you got a vacuum leak. Check and see if you got a vacuum leak. A lot of y'all was telling me that. I'm thinking that I done checked everything from front to back. I mean, I'm tearing, y'all see what I did. Y'all seen the videos. But I'm gonna get y'all turned around. You ain't gonna believe what caused my problems. I'm gonna get y'all turned around so y'all can see what I'm talking about. All right, y'all see what I done did so far. I went on ahead and put this valve cover back on because I don't have nothing that I got to do on this side anyway. You see the carburetor missing. You see the gasket that's there, it's not torn. The one under the bottom is not torn either, but I'm gonna take them off and replace them because they're old. I don't have no intake leaks on the intake itself. I ain't even first took the distributor off yet. I went ahead and cleaned them plugs like I told y'all. I mean what I say. Unless they so bad they can't fire at all, they going back in this motor. Here go my fasteners for the carburetor. A little side note. Hold on, let me put this down. A little side note. Y'all see this little kit? I probably should do a YouTube short, but I'm not. See this little kit here, Icon? I got this from Harbor Freight. I keep this in my rolling bag when I go to work on forklifts and whatnot. Comes with a little ratchet and adapters. Man, this little thing here come in handy. Y'all see I got huge hands, you know, but this is a small little ratchet that fit in some areas where normally you can't. And I'm using this to put the fuel bowls back on. But anyway, hey, go to Harbor Freight, get you one of these. But back to the main thing. I'm going to show y'all. I'm getting ready to do a leak down test and everything. I ain't even doing that now. And I'm going to show you why. Look at this. Now, I'm going to move this valve cover. And obviously, I'm showing y'all the carburetor. All right. This here is where the PCV valve going right now. This is normally where I would have ran my vacuum advance for the carburetor. I got it plugged off because I got tired of these little rubber things here cracking and causing exhaust leaks. I just put this one on there, but this one ain't leaking. It's good to go. It's starting to, but it's good to go. I need to get me some better plugs. Now, y'all getting ready to see why my truck was running so bad. Watch this. I'm gonna keep the camera on the carburetor as I turn it around. Look at that. Look at that, y'all. God done, man. This where my intake leak was. Sucking air. This whole thing done deteriorated. Just wide open vacuum leak. Because this would be normally where I could have either hooked the brake booster hose, but I got mine going to the intake. Or where I could use any, you know, another vacuum source. That's pretty much what that is. It's an auxiliary vacuum source. But most guys, they hook it to the brake booster or they plug it off. I didn't plug it off very well. And I didn't even realize that, okay, I got a plug back there. Let me check that plug. But when the truck was running, I didn't hear a vacuum leak from this port, from this particular port. So now what I'm gonna do is figure out a way to plug this off. And I'm gonna put the plugs back in it, put that valve cover back on, and put that fuel filter in there, and I'm gonna let it rip. I'm glad that it's nothing engine related, internally, you know, the way I had to pull the heads and all that kind of stuff. But still, man, little small stuff like this here, you know, can throw you for a loop. So right now I'm trying to go ahead and get it off, and I'm gonna pull this back bowl off so I can make sure ain't no trash in none of the secondary. Wait a minute, ain't no jets back there. It's just a metering plate. But I'm gonna still take it off and check it, and put it back together and get ready to put it back on the car, on the truck, I mean. But y'all beware of these things here. I know some, you know, gonna call them junk, which in some applications they probably would be junk, and I get that. But I'm looking at it from a standpoint of, okay, it's just there to plug it. You know, what's the harm that it can do? But I'm gonna have to get me something more quality to plug that day off, because I don't need that happening again. That thing could have caused me to have to pull my heads off or nothing. So y'all learn from my mistake. I ain't ashamed to put it on camera and whatnot, you know, because we all make mistakes here and there. But I'm hoping that this video keeps somebody else from running around like a chicken with the head cut off like I did. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that back bowl off that carburetor and make sure that plate is clean. And then I'm gonna get ready to put this truck back together so I can try to fire it up. So y'all just stay tuned. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and try to hurry up and update y'all before I lose daylight, because it's starting to get dark here. I I got everything put back together. There was no trash in the secondary fuel bowl. I blew out the jets and wiped out the inside of the bowl just because. And those of you who were in the comments about the fuel filter, you be proud. I went on ahead and installed one and put some new clamps on while I was in it. So that part is good. Let me think. I hadn't put the plugs in it because I got my best friend doing a parts store run for me because I don't have nowhere getting to the parts store. So thank God for him helping me out. While he on the way and getting them plugs, I'm gonna try to slide up under the truck and put this fuel filter on there. And then whenever he get here, I'll go ahead and put the plugs in, put the wires back on. I'm gonna have to prime, I'm gonna say the carburetor. Maybe I'm not saying it right, but I got an electric pump still on this truck. So I got to cut the key on to get some fuel in the bowl before I try to fire it. Let me see if there's anything I'm missing. Oh yeah. For right now, and you can quote me on this because the instructions normally say that, just to make sure that I get the thing up and running, I just went in, lightly till it stops for the mixture screws and turned out about a turn and a half. That's normally where my stuff like to sit, just to get it in the ballpark. And then I'm gonna put my timing light back on it. And what I'm gonna try to do is I might dial back the timing some on this motor. Call me scared, call me overly cautious, but I got to make sure that I keep this here going until I can afford to do what I really want to do with it. So right now, like I told y'all before multiple times, I got it at 4 degrees advance at idle, and I think total timing is somewhere around 34. Maybe, I don't think it's 36. I believe it's 34. But I'm gonna back it down some, probably to 2 degrees advance at idle, just to kind of play it safe with my little tune up, as they call it. And I'm gonna add some Stay-Bill to the gas that's still in there. That way, at least whatever's gonna run up to the carburetor to get it running is decent gas. Hopefully it eliminates some of the ethanol in it. And then from then on, I'm gonna just put straight non-ethanol fuel in it. So hopefully I won't have that issue out of the carburetor again. So hopefully when I turn y'all back on, it'll be ready to fire. It'll be running. It'll get hot, not overheat, but up to temp. And I won't have to be dealing with these backfiring issues. So stay tuned. All right, y'all. We got it put back together. My best friend, he came by, brought me the spark plugs. I'll show y'all the part number on that stuff, or either I put it in the description because it's dark and I ain't trying to take no. Well, you know what? I'll do it. This is the part number to the plugs. So I'm not sure if these are the plugs that one of you subscribers had recommended that I get in the other video, but these the ones. I put them in there, got them all tight, got the wires hooked up, got all the fuel lines hooked up. I think that's it. So what I'm gonna do, oh yeah, I got the fuel filter. It gave me some trouble, but I got that put in under the truck as well. I'm gonna go ahead and prime the fuel system with the key on, get some fuel in the bowls. I already got the timing light hooked up because I might adjust that a little bit if need be, and check for leaks, and then we're gonna fire it up and see what happens. So y'all just stay tuned. All right, guys, we still out here. My best friend helping me right now, which I'm grateful for. We got fuel. I don't know if y'all can see it, but it's in there. And I already done checked for leaks. I got this zip tied to, no, the light cast in the shadow now. I got it zip tied to the low side compressor line, which that's harmless. Actually, when I get the AC working, that actually help keep the fuel cool. So I got the timing light hooked up already. He in there waiting on me to give him the signal. We're gonna hit the key and we're gonna see what it's gonna do. Go ahead and try to crank it, boy. running again. This time I'm for sure that I ain't got no vacuum leaks. New base gaskets. Let me cut this headlight on. So this headlight like the sun. New base gaskets at the top and the bottom. I got that new plug on it from that kit. New spark plugs. I don't see no leaks on the carburetor. So hopefully we good. I'm gonna let it build some temperature first, and then we gonna put the timing light on it. So y'all just stay tuned. All right, y'all, if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you for watching, but I might be got one piece of good news, but the rest of it is bad news. It is literally days later, maybe a little over a week later, and I still hadn't figured out what's going on with that truck, other than eliminating some issues of what I thought it was. So for right now, the truck's still down. I'm more than likely gonna have to pull the heads off of it. If I really wanted to 100% confirm what my suspicions are, I can take that boroscope camera and pull the spark plugs and look in each individual spark plug hole with that camera. It has like a little light on the end, and look at what I already feel like I got to do. So to give you a brief overview of what I've done, you know what, I'm gonna just show it to you, that way you can see it as I'm explaining it to you. So just stay tuned. All right, guys, I walked over here to the truck so I can let the hood up, you know, and let you at least look at the motor while I'm explaining. What I did was, they're gonna light again. Y'all know every time that light come on and stay on when I let the hood up, something bad, something wrong. I'm gonna take the bulb out of that. It must be bad luck, bad omen, or bad juju. But anyway, I replaced both base gaskets, which you should have seen earlier in the video. I rebuilt the carburetor when I drove it down to my shop to do my aunt's brakes on her truck. That didn't work, but I will tell you this: there was a lot of oxidation inside of the fuel bowls, front and rear, on that carburetor, and I had like a gel-like substance in one of the jets. Cleaned all that out. It ran flawlessly until it got hot. So I'm like, okay, whatever I got going on is temperature related. So just to satisfy my curiosity, I pulled the spark plug wires off the cap. I took the cap off, took the rotor button off, and I noticed that it was a lot of like dust from like metal to metal contact, you know, like electrical dust, if you want to call it that. It's like a brownish colored dust that was inside under the rotary button. So I pulled that, and I noticed where the counterweights, which controls the counterweights and the springs, which control your mechanical advance, they looked worn completely out. I might be got them on the seat inside the truck, but I just don't feel like going and messing with that stuff right now. I'm just doing this so I can close the video out and then give y'all an update on what's actually going on. So what I did, I tried to find like a kit to where I can rebuild that, the counterweight and the springs and all that whatnot. I think they call it a HEI tune-up kit, and I couldn't find one locally to where I can just put my truck back together and drive it. And I'm guessing that it happened for good reason. I even second guessed sending that distributor back that I had, because I was like, well, maybe it would have helped it. But after doing what I'm getting ready to tell you, it wouldn't have helped. I would have wasted $140 something, and then I'd have still had the same problem. So this is what I did. Since I couldn't figure out how to rebuild the or repair the counterweight issue, what I did was do some research, found some other YouTube videos, and I actually found a way to lock out my distributor. Now, some of y'all is probably gonna laugh, and it's actually pretty comical to me. But you got to be resourceful when you're working in a place like your backyard and your shop is 20-something minutes away. So I took an old dog pan and cut the bottom out of it, and I trimmed it to the point to where, well, let me say it this way. I cut a piece out of it and trimmed it and matched up the holes after phasing the distributor, and I locked out the distributor. Yeah, I didn't even know I could do that. I never had to do it before. I always watched videos behind it, and I was like, man, I ain't never done this before. So if it worked, great. But if it don't, then you know it is what it is. At least I learned how I can do it. I locked it out, and I took my not my timing light from my work van, because that one is just a basic light. I got my one from the shop, which has advanced function on it. And I literally set the ignition timing at 30 degrees total. Total now. That means it's 30 degrees at idle, 30 degrees at wide open throttle, which is a safe range for this particular setup. I know some engines need more. It all depends on what you need to make your engine happy. This would have been a safe setup, all right? The issue with that was, with the timing being so high, I didn't have issues with it dieseling. I just kind of had what I thought an issue would have been with engine idle. But believe it or not, and some of you more experienced guys that know about this stuff more than I do, when I cranked it up, it ran great. It idled at about, I think it was 890 to 900 RPM, somewhere along in there. And you would think that that's pretty high for this setup, but if for whatever reason, it was still camming at the bankside. So I'm like, well, how is it camming like that with it being idle so high? I mean, all that was new to me. So I took my son to school one morning just to see what it was going to be like after doing all that, and it drove great going to school. It had a whole, it's like it moved the torque curve to a lower RPM because of where the ignition timer was set. It didn't spark rattle. It didn't backfire out of the carburetor, not once, while it was still kind of cool. So I'm driving Bryce to school, dropped them off, and I noticed that well, let me back up. I drove him to school, and right before I turned into the school driveway, it backfired out of the, well, somebody in the comments told me technically that's called afterfire. So it did that one time as we turned it in, and I got off the gas, and Bryce was like, what was that? I'm like, I sound like it's still popping again, so I might be didn't fix the truck. So I got him out, and on the way back home, the closer I got to the house, the worse it got. And I'm like, man, I ain't fixed this truck. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to pull these heads and, you know, get it all torn down and get them sent to the machine shop. And what I'm gonna do is, for one, continue putting only ethanol-free fuel in this truck since I have a carbureted application. Number two, I am going to closely monitor my carburetor setup until I get it just where I need to be, and kind of sort of periodically check my plugs here and there and see how it's reading. Number three, I want to invest in a air fuel ratio gauge so I can keep an eye on what the carburetor and the engine is doing without actually having to physically mess with it. And one of you guys told me about that too, which I wanted to invest in it, but I got bigger fish to fry at the moment, so getting that at this time ain't gonna really make no difference. What I'm probably gonna do is, when I get it down to the shop and I get a chance to tear it down, I'm gonna just pull the motor and transmission together, because I obviously got issues with that too, and I'm gonna deal with my engine issues while I send that transmission off to get rebuilt. That way I can put a complete unit back in and hopefully get the truck straightened out like it need to be. Also, while I was under the truck, I think changing the oil or doing something different, I saw where the pinion seal on the rear end is getting worse. So I also got to redo that. And it got a little bit discouraging. And I'm going to take y'all back to the swing and shut the hood on this truck, so I can kind of continue on with that conversation. So just stay tuned. All right. To finish up what I was talking about, all three of those are major repairs. I can at least figure out how to do most of them. I don't have time to rebuild no transmission, so I'm definitely not messing with that. The last time I actually rebuilt a transmission of that caliber was over 20 years ago when I went to it was a class that we got sent to a transmission shop to do a walkthrough with it. And other than that, I don't really mess with them like that, so it wouldn't be a good idea for me to even touch it other than taking it out. The Wren, I got the stuff for it, the tools to actually do it the right way, but buying the parts is a whole nother issue. We still without vehicles over here, and well, other than the service van, which I can't use for personal use. So stuff is real rough right now, and I thought about just going ahead and selling the truck and like, hey man, somebody got the money to do Belle like she deserved to be done. And I was like, maybe I need to just go ahead and give up and let it go. But I wouldn't be doing some of y'all justice by encouraging you to keep wrenching if I'm giving up. And I understand everybody's situation might be different. You know, sometimes you got to take a step back and reevaluate things. And then for some, it may be better to just let something go and get something better down the road. And for some, it might be better to just keep fighting and keep wrenching on it until you get it how you want it. At this particular time, there's so much going on in my personal life that it's hard for me to see the light with just that truck. But I'm taking it one day at a time. I'm trying to be as positive as I possibly can be, but there's just a lot going on. So, you know, even the born again believers have their days to where the flesh wins, you know. But I still got God on my side. I still trust and believe that He gonna help me to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish. So I'm just taking it one day at a time and dealing with what's right in front of me rather than worrying about something that's down the road, which I may or may not see. So like I said, I wanted to update y'all on what was going on. I know that some of you was waiting on for like a update video or seeing what and how things worked out as I was checking what I was checking. I'm really confused also as how, if I got burnt valves, how could I still have good cylinder pressures? It's like it's not really adding up. But either way, I'm gonna go ahead and tear it down and go back together with it, and hopefully she'll come back stronger and better. So I may not be, most likely I won't be posting too much, at least about that truck, for a little while. Maybe I'll do some of the tear down just to give y'all some content, but I may not be posting no stuff about that truck for a little while. I'm not saying I'm gonna stop posting at all, but it's nothing really to post until I actually start tearing it down. So, you know, I'm kind of in a standstill right now. But without holding y'all any longer, I appreciate y'all for watching. I encourage y'all to keep doing what you're doing. I thank you for your support. I thank you for sharing and telling other people about my videos. I see my channel growing, and it's all because of y'all. Y'all that watch my content and subscribe. I think that's about it, man. I just wanted to let y'all know what was going on. So, like I always tell y'all, even in this situation, be blessed, be encouraged, keep wrenching. I'll see y'all on the next video.